Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Midday Market Action. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be here. Glad to have you here. It's a great way to start off the week. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend, and now we've got another new work week coming in. What's the market going to do, and how do you take advantage of it? If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation in the chat, to let me know that I am coming across loud and clear without any problems. And by the way, Joey is back. Make sure you say hello to Joey after he had some time off with family and doing some family stuff. You got to do that every so often. So make sure everybody says hello to Joey, who did a good job while Joey was away, but we are glad to have Joey back nonetheless. So it looks like you guys are hearing me. Let me do this real quick, Joey. I want to see how many people are here. All right, cool. You know me, I'm trying to get us 300 people in the room. I'm still waiting for more people to come in. Make sure you move up in the room to give people some room to get into the room as they come in. I see more and more people coming into the room. You know, I'm going to try to get 300 people in the room. And the reason why I do that is I think that the content that we put out here is really good for an understanding of what's going on in the market. Not only that, but how you as investors in the market can take advantage of what's going on. 6 p.m. video comes out tonight. I think it's going to be a good one about AI. And the AI race is heating up again. A lot of some things went on with 60 Minutes last night. Scott Pelley did a great story on AI, but focusing on Google. But Google's not the only company out there that does AI. All right, we got 188 people. Let's bump this up. You guys, please share the link. Joey put it in the chat already. Share the link, the live link, so that you can invite people on your social circles to join us today. So let's bump this up. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Not a lot of news in the market, I think, that's going to affect the market, but there's still enough things, enough meat on the bones for us to take advantage of, and we're going to take a look at a lot of that today. Who is Joey? Where is Koo? Dang, Mark, you see that, Joey? You go away for a couple of days, and Mark is looking for a Koo, not even Joey. Wow. What time does the 6 p.m. video come out? Hold on. That deserves crickets. That definitely deserves crickets. All right.
I don't know if you don't have it open there.
Say again?
Your stream deck is not working.
Oh, that's right. I can fix that because I restarted my computer. My stream deck should start working now. Now you should be able to hear the crickets. Now you can hear the cricket. Oh, it's still not showing up?
Nope.
Interesting. One more time. All right, so I'm not sure why it's not working. You guys not hearing it? All right, let me know. I'm not sure why the sounds are not coming through. I did open it up. It's on my screen for Joey, so it is open. I'm not sure why it's not showing up. It's all right. It's all right.
Go ahead and put Mark in timeout for me.
All right, Mark's in timeout. All right, Mark, you just got put in timeout. All right, Joey told me to put you in the timeout. Huh? Try it now. Here's the crickets. Still not coming up. It's interesting. All right, it's fine. It's fine. Glenn is easy. Some Cafe Bustelo and bacon, and he is good to go. Wow, it's my volume. Huh?
That one should be it.
There it is. Now you can hear it. Should I wait to buy Google? That's a good, Ultra Magnus. We're going to take a look at Google. All right, we're going to take a look at GOOGL. It's one of the stocks that I'm looking at today anyway, so we're going to take a look at that. All right, so as we look at what's going on in the market right now, we got 200 people. Let's get 100 people more. All right, let's get 100 people more. All you got to do is share it. All you got to do is share it. I'll do everything else. You just share it and get the people here. As we look at what's going on in the market, we got another green day in the color guard pricing column, but still overall, the majority of the color is yellow. This is still a time to be cautious in the market. For me, what I always like to tell people during this time is make sure that you are monitoring your stops on the stocks that you have, and take what the market gives you. As I look a little further down, all of the major indices, with the exception of the VectorVest composite, are up today. So the market, are down today. So the market's not really participating with you buying more shares of anything. So the market is slightly down to flat. Looking at the Dow is at 0.01. The biggest leader to the downside is the NASDAQ, or the tech stocks. They're down at almost 0.4%. The S&P is down about 0.2%. So as you look at this, this is not a time to go rack up on new stocks. Now, taking what the market gives you, if there is a stock that's running that you want to take advantage of, because we're cautious, do it in a smart way, knowing that you're not going to play that stock longer term, a couple of days to a couple of weeks. It's more of a shorter term play. Either get in and out today, or probably out by tomorrow. Michael says, Glenn, you did an excellent Canadian presentation last Tuesday. Hope we will see you there again. Michael, whoever does the special presentation will now do that weekly update on Tuesdays. All right. So the next time I have special presentation will be the time where I will be back doing that. Mark says, yay, timeout as long as there's Yingling and no Bud Light. You know, I'm not getting into the Bud Light stuff. I'm just not doing it. Just not doing it. Not the right time. Not at this juncture. Not doing it. No. All right. So, Yingling, I ain't got no Yingling. You got water. That's what you got in timeout. There's water. That's all you got. All right. So if you're thinking that we got Yingling, let me go this way. If you think we got Yingling, there.
No, God, please, no, no, no.
That's what we got as far as, oops, where's my thing? Where's that? There we go. That's what I got as far as Yingling. I will wear Nike. Oh gosh, Mark. See, you taking me down the spaces that I don't want to go. All right. So, gosh, this is why you're in timeout, Mark. This is exactly why you're in timeout. Sigh, mama mia. You're trying to get me canceled. So given this information that we have, what do we do in the market? Now, JD, I know you follow me on Twitter, so I know where your head's at. I totally understand where your head's at, man. And I'm almost in the same spot. So let's do this. I'm going to go to a market timing graph. Intraday, this is what we look at. This is what we look like. A little bit of volatility in the market, a nice bump up at the market open at 9:30. We ran up to the time of about 10:30 this morning, pretty much during the time that Steve was doing the live trading room or the jockey club, going down. NY, is that SBO or SDOW? Do you want the SDOW? We'll take a look at that. I think that's what you really meant to put. That's my thinking. That's what I really think you meant to put. And look at the move since the market open. We're still higher than the open, but look at the big pullback. All right, now a little bounce. This is intraday. As a day trader's perspective, it's a little tough to be on the right side of the market today. A little bit of volatility going on. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph, though. But this is the key point about this market at this particular point in time. On the VectorVest composite, we've got a level of 57.15 that we have not been able to break through to show some extension on this upward move in the market that happened from this low or this level of support sitting at 53.99. Now, if the market's going to show me some legs to the upside, we've got to break through that. We've had a hard time breaking. Positive sign, though, we are above this downtrend, number one. Number two, the 3 and the 8 are still in play. We got a little bit of indecision going on today. The market's not moving up. It's not moving down. It's indecision, but it's a lot of more wick at the top of the candle and at the bottom of the candle, showing me that the market perceivably, I probably just made that up, that we got a little bit more downside going into tomorrow if the market were to close today. A little bigger wick at the top of the candle. And now look at this, a closed candle, which means the price right now is lower than the open. I still think that based upon what's going on with inflation, even though it's cooling, it's still high. And what the Fed's hawkish nature is right now, we've still got a lot more downside to the market. Earnings are coming out. We're in the second quarter of earnings. I believe between this quarter and next quarter, we're going to start to see a lot more companies miss earnings. That's going to be a byproduct of the Fed raising interest rates. It's a natural order of things to happen because as we raise interest rates, it makes it harder for businesses to do business because part of doing business is borrowing money. And if you have to pay a higher interest rate on the money that you borrowed, it takes money out of your pocket, and then thus far, we're going to see a lot more companies miss earnings. We're going to talk about some earnings as well. Sting today, plus 4%. That is a nice one coming out of a base. So STNG is a stock that's in the shipping, and right now, I'm going to tell you to just be careful with it. You're still going to find some stocks that are moving in the space. Just be careful. Last week, we took a look at the industry, and the industry didn't look as strong as it did in the past. Be careful with the shipping stocks. But if they give you an opportunity to make money, keep in mind, looking at this market longer term, by way of a 3-month graph, I wouldn't be backing up the truck to load up on brand new stocks to get in. If I get an opportunity to buy a stock, I'd probably take it for the day, maybe holding it into the next day, but any further than that, I'd be very careful. All right, so now let's talk about what news is moving the market. We'll go there. Starting with a lot of people still think that the Fed should pause or start cutting rates, which I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't think that that happens this year. I don't think that that happens this year, especially if the Fed is being very adamant about the fact that they want to get to 2%. Tesla is going to be a stock that we're going to look at as well, Karim. All right, Tesla is going to be, and it's going to be a stock that I'm going to talk about tonight as well in my AI video. It's one of the better stocks in the AI space that I do want you to keep your eyes on. So make sure, Karim, you watch the 6 p.m. video tonight. Now, this story says the Fed pause wouldn't necessarily refresh the stock market. I think that we're getting to a point. All right. I think that we're getting to a point where people, JD, I know you're on board with this, are starting to realize that we're in a pickle when it comes to the market. A lot of people want to see the market go back up. I think we all do. But when the market's moving down, it presents you with great opportunities to make money as well. But there's, when I ask the question, should the Fed pause or should the Fed start cutting rates? More people than I think in the room thinks that he should. He can't. In my estimation, on paper, he can't. If he's trying to get to 2%, he can't pause yet. Now, I do know that the cutting of the raising of the interest rates is a laggard indicator, and maybe the pause gives him time to see if what he's doing is really working. Do you see the CPI reports that keep coming out? We're stagnant at that 5.6 range. Even with the raising of the interest rates, we're stagnant and we're still high. We've come off that 7%, but we're still at 5.6, 5.5, and not moving from that point. Based upon that information, that's looking at core CPI. Looking at that information, the Fed has no other choice than right now to continue to raise interest rates. Do you believe what I just said? All right, type of 1 in the room if you believe it. Type of 2 if you think I'm bloviating. All right, type of 1 in the room if you agree with the Fed just cannot pause or cut interest rates right now. Type a 2 if you think that I am just talking out the side of my neck and I'm bloviating. I know we all want the market to go back up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We all do. But the reality is that inflation is so far out of the reach of the Fed right now that the only thing he's got in his pocket, he's got 2 things, but the main thing he's got in his pocket is to continue to raise interest rates. The other thing is to take a lot of the money off the books. All right. And Badger says 1, and I am bloviating. You spell bloviating wrong, Badger. How about that? How about that? You spelled bloviating wrong. Sigh. Can we agree that it's 1 and you're bloviating? Mark said the same thing too. You know something? I'm going to laugh at you too. All right. So that's all I got to say. And John, we're not going down that road. All right. We're not going down that road. All right. So with all of that being said, I think that we know that the hawkish Fed is still in play. I think that in May, he continues to raise the interest rates. Most people think it's going to be a 1/4 basis point. I think it should be 50, but that's just me. Next one, ChatGPT, hot story. How many of you saw the 60-minute piece last night on Google? Type of 1. How many of you saw the 60-minute piece last night with Scott Pelley with Google talking about AI? I think it was a really good piece on AI, and I decided to come in today to record the video on the AI race heating up today. Make sure you support it. It's going to be at 6 p.m. And they talked a little bit about what I talked about in the video about, what what's AI? AI is yeah. See, this is what happens when you get artificial intelligence. To go to the next tier of artificial general intelligence. So I talk a little bit about that in the video. There's 3 companies out there that are going really close to that path. ChatGPT is one of them. Google has the other thing, which is Mind something, and then there's a third one that's out there. So this space is still hot. This space is still hot, and tonight's video is giving you an idea of how to make money in this space. All right, and how to make money in this space. So, but ChatGPT can decode Fed speak, predict stock moves from headlines. That's scary. That's scary, and I don't know how to look at that. Bryson, mostly dovish. The sentence highlights improvements on the labor market, blah, 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 blah. So it's interesting. How many of you out there use ChatGPT? Type a yes in the room or no if you don't. I use ChatGPT. I think it's a great way to go down the path of some ideas and then start to expand on those. But I have used the ChatGPT. If you have, type a yes. If you have not, type a no. DeepMind, Google DeepMind, and there's another one, Fitz. Google has and there's a third one. There's a third one. In my article, though, I do talk about the 3. In my article tonight, I do talk about the 3. All right, so moving on from here, that's a hot story. We will look at that. Microsoft is the big stock between Microsoft and Google and Baidu. There's a couple of people. ChatGPT or OpenAI is the big dog in that show, and Microsoft has a big investment in it. Here's another group of stocks that are moving up today. Moderna, I saw this over the weekend. It rises 2.5% after the company's experimental mRNA drug cancer vaccine significantly cut the risk of death or recurrence of the most deadly skin cancer. Merck is up there. Merck and somebody, I thought it was Merck and Moderna, did something with a drug over the weekend as well. State Street, a bank fell 8.25% or almost 8.5% after they reported. XPeng is on the rise after the Chinese electric vehicle maker unveiled a new platform it developed in-house for making vehicles. I always say that in the EV space, the EV company, it's worth its weight in salt if they can provide the product, if they can keep up with demand. XPeng is trying to be able to do that. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Dell, on the other hand, laptops, computers are on the downfall right now. So Dell, you look at Intel, you look at Apple, are all in the same space but you know, the beautiful thing about Apple is just not computers. So Apple is going to be a little bit more resilient than a Dell or an Intel or an IBM. All right. So, that's a lot of that becomes because they're falling short on computer sales. Uber rose 1.5% or 1.2 after Jeffries called the ride sharing fare top pick in a note. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Another bank reported, but they beat earnings, and a pharmaceutical reported after the pharma company reported strong first quarter revenue growth and reaffirmed its 2023 guidance. Anytime you can see a pharmaceutical beat on earnings and growth, that's a company you want to keep your eyes on. Excuse me, that's a company you want to keep your eyes on. John says, I want to order a Chinese electric car just for the fun of it. What do you think about SDGR as an AI stock? SDGR, we'll take a look at it. How does ChatGPT have the same initials as Glenn? That ain't my name. My initials are GET, not GPT. It's GET. So John, those ain't my initials. My initials are GET. My middle name is Edward. I'm a Regal. Everybody understand that? I am a Regal. I am of royalty. Pip, pip, chitty. Oh, no, that's all right. Hello, governor. Hello. All right, next story. This comes from VectorVest. If you ever go to our main website and go down to the blog, we always have stocks out there for you guys to keep your eyes on. Moderna deal says Generation Bio shares 34% higher. Should you take a chance on this stock? So we're going to take a look at that stock as well. But we always put stories out there, especially if you're not a subscriber to the VectorVest system. You can always go to our website, go to the blogs. We got a lot of great stuff here for you guys to take advantage of. Hopefully that will push you over the fence to want to at least take a trial to the VectorVest system. Remember, folks, it is 99 cents, 99 cents for a 30-day trial to VectorVest. All right, oil. Why is oil looking poopy? Well, Saudi Arabia and the UAE scoop up Russian oil products at steep discounts. So with Russia, and a lot of these people are buying them in the rubles to overcome the sanctions that we have on Russia. I just talked about the declining dollar and how these countries can get away around sanctions. And looking at the BRICS companies, take a look at that video as well. But that's going to affect oil to the downside. I'm thinking about dropping my WTI, my oil play. You think that with OPEC saying that they were going to cut the production of oil, that would increase the demand. But if other countries are going to Russia to get it cheaper, it's going to affect us in the way of oil. The demand is going to, the supply is going to be out there from Russia, and it's going to drive oil prices down. So just keep your eyes on that. And last but not least, I've got all of the stocks that have earnings this week, all the way through. Stocks that I'm keeping my eyes on, again, on banks. Banks are reporting. I still think that there's another shoe to fall when it comes down to the banking stocks, especially when the regionals report. A lot of them have not reported that their bond investments are not doing well like SVB did. But I think it's going to get to a point where they're going to have to get them off the books and they're going to have to report it. And I think a lot more regional banks are in the same situation that SVB was in, and the other shoe has not fallen thus far. So banks are still reporting. There's Bank of America on Tuesday, Lockheed Martin, Netflix. I'm curious to see from a Netflix perspective, how are they doing on subscribers? Are they losing more subscribers or gaining more? I don't know if it's, a lot of people are going back to work. Netflix still probably is going to be affected adversely as far as that's concerned. Another bank on Tuesday, Interactive Brokers. Another bank on Wednesday, chip company, ASML, Abbott, Morgan Stanley, U.S. Bank. You know that all over the place. You see a lot of banks still coming in, but a lot of big companies that we all know as well. Kinder Morgan, Equifax on Thursday. Another chip company, TSMC, just like ASML the day before. Philip Morris, for all you smokers out there like me. AT&T, American Express, Blackstone, and so on. Here's all of the earnings that are coming out for this week, so I wanted you to get an idea of what's going on. Dennis wants to look at USOI, another oil. Possibly they are buying supply to keep it off the market, says Richard. No, I don't know if they're buying supply to keep it off the market. I think that they're just supporting Russia. I think that, and the Russia's part of the BRICS countries. So I think that they're just trying to screw us and keep our oil prices really low. That's what I think. All right, let's get back into the software. From here, let's go to the viewers tab. And let's go take a look at the indices. IWM, the lower dollar stocks are up today a little bit, about 0.5%. The composite is flat to slightly up. VIX is up. So we get a little bit more fear in the market, but we're still below the value of 20. So the VIX is not showing us a heightened level of volatility, even though the intraday graph of the composite is telling me a different story. The NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P are all down today. The Dow is about flat to down. The biggest loser to the downside is the NASDAQ, down about 0.75%. Here's my big nose story. Schwab is one of the companies, David, that will be reporting. So I won't take a look at that. I think that as we saw that's reporting rather quickly, isn't it? Yep, it is. It is reporting today. It is reporting. Actually, it already reported. Schwab already reported. I don't know what they did or did not do, but they reported before the market opened. They did report before the market opened. Here's the companies that made the news that I wanted to take a look at. Big move on XPEV. I think that if they can create a more streamlined way to build cars to meet the demand, XPEV may be a company to keep your eyes on. I'm all on board. You all know that I've done the videos. I'm all on board on making money in these companies because I think that we're slowly but surely swinging in that direction. Fully? No. I don't think by 2030 I don't think that by 2030, I don't think at any point in time we will be fully electric. I think that the combustion engine will always have a place in society. But we are trying to make a cleaner society. You know what's interesting about that? That we're doing a lot of the work to reduce our carbon footprint, but a lot of countries out there that have a big carbon footprint and not doing anything to reduce theirs. I don't know how this plays out. It plays out possibly for us but that we're just a small part of the world in regards to land mass. We really, really are. So it's interesting how we're putting a lot of this effort, but a lot of countries are not. I wonder what the payoff is going to be. Anyway, I still think that electric cars, because the demand is there. Drew says, "Ooh, Schwab lost $41 billion in deposits." Thank you for that, Drew. That's big. I wonder how many banks, other banks that are going to be reporting, are going to be like with Schwab. That's very interesting. If people are taking the money out of the banks, where are they putting it? Most likely they're putting it into the market. All right, if they're taking the money out of the banks because they feel that the banks are not doing a good enough job growing their money, or they're not comfortable or confident that they will be able to return their money when it comes time to go get it, people are going to start taking their money out of the bank and putting it back into the market. The market's already overvalued. A lot of the reason why the market is overvalued is because a lot of people are putting their money out of the banks into the market. Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. All right. So I like XPEV for now, but, this could go day by day, day by day, day by day. Anyway, right now I'm going to tell you to keep your minds on it. They're putting their money in the money market funds. Are the money market funds paying off anything? Our IRS gets a chunk of mine, so the IRS gets a chunk of mine too when it comes to taxes. That's weird. Pecan Prize, though, are they getting any money, any return on the money market funds? All right, is it worth it for them to do it, or is it worth it to at least get some ton of money in treasuries yielding almost 5%? Then there you go. All right. Charbel says, "I see no value in EV. If every car company is making an EV, then it's simply another car company." Ooh, that's a good thing. But if the demand is increasing, Charbel, on people trying to get into the EV space, then the idea is, then I need to try to find you the companies from an investment perspective that give you the best return on your investment. When I look at the EVs, the companies that I'm going to feel the most comfortable on returning my money, returning an investment on my money, are the companies that can keep up with the demand and produce the product. So Charbel, whether you think that they're just all car companies or whatever, I'm looking at it from a money-making perspective. If the EV space is on the rise and people are buying them and the demand is there, which companies do you need to have your money in? Does that make sense, Charbel? I'm not going down the path of blah, blah. I just want to make you money. EV battery technology is growing, and Tesla's playing a big role in that. Fidelity SPX is 4.5%. This is the money market. Someone said, Pecan says 4.5 to 5%. So I'm with that. All right. 4.5 to 5% is better than probably risking it in the market. A lot of people say. All right. Ray says Hyundai. Is that Hyundai? Is that my Ray? Is that you, Ray? Talking about Hyundai? They got the Ioniq 7 that just came out. The Hyundai Ioniq 7, which is the upper level from the Ioniq 5, just to let you know, I am keeping my eyes on that. I do keep my eyes on that stuff. The Ioniq 7 came out, 300-mile range. The big thing for me when I'm looking at an EV to get into is I need to see which EV has the most range. For me, it was the Rivian. The Rivian had a vehicle that had a 500-mile range on the charge. That's better than Tesla. Problem is with Rivian, they can't keep up with inventory. They can't keep up the inventory to supply the demand. And they're one of the most expensive out there as well. All right, they're one of the most expensive out there as well. With Ford being so low for almost a year, what's your opinion? I think that Ford is a company that's been around for a long time, but I think they're behind the 8 ball when it comes down to the EV space, the electric, the F-150 electric. They were producing it. They weren't producing it. They stopped producing it. And now they're back producing it again at a higher price. Whereas Tesla is out there breaking down the prices on EVs. And I think that Tesla's going to eat their lunch. All right, that's what I'm thinking right now. Tesla's going to eat their lunch. Now, when I look at Ford as a company that's been around for so long, there's some validity to the company's longevity. But now you got to look at, are they keeping pace with what's going on, whether it's combustion vehicles, or electric vehicles? Are they keeping pace? And at some point in time, Ford, if they're not going to do better, may have to make some internal changes as far as management. Does that make sense, Jeremy? That's what I'm looking at as Ford, because Ford is a company that's been around a long time. It's not a fly-by-night company. But if they're not doing the things to keep them where they need to be in this space, at some point in time, you've got to question management. Jeremy, does that make sense? All right, that's my insight on Ford at this particular point in time. All right, so on State Street, that's the bank. Look at that. They must have missed. They did. We saw that they did miss. Down 11%. Moderna, you would think, should have done better, but it's not. It's down almost 8.5%. Another pharmaceutical nicely up today. Remember, that was the company that beat on earnings. So out of the companies that I'm looking at from the news, I would pay attention to the stocks that had the highest VST. The top three, there's a bank, there's Dell, and there's Merck. I do like Merck. I do like Moderna. I do like, in this case, the pharmaceuticals for you to keep your eyes on. All right, so those are the stories that are making news. A lot of these are sell recommendations, given the market's conditions. Again, on some of these, like 15%, even though it's a sell recommendation, I would take the money today. Maybe let's go see if it moves up some more tomorrow. Most likely, though, it might be a pullback because it's a cheap stock, too. What I do like, another thing I do like about the company as a pharmaceutical, it is undervalued. It is not a very easy thing to find a pharmaceutical that's undervalued. Folks, I want you to keep your mind. I want you to keep your mind and your eyes on AMRX. All right? Keep your eyes on that. Nice move, beat earnings. Fundamentally not sound. RT is not there. It is news driven, but it is undervalued. It is undervalued. Just keep your eyes on it. I'm not telling anybody out there to go buy it. All right? Earnings for the week we talked about. Let's talk about some stocks that I can put into your hands today. Speculative plays the NPI. Near perfect indicator. I got 5 stocks nicely moving up today. VSTs are all above ones. Stocks ranges from $5 all the way up to $166. That can accommodate just about anybody in this room. Let's go look at these graphs. They're all optionable as well, even though the market's conditions are a lot more cautionary. Excuse me. But 4 of the 5 stocks are buys, 1 is a hold. Look at these growth rates on these stocks, really, really good. Let's right-click, view the stock graph. These are my one-day winners. Let's go find my graph layout for the near-perfect indicator. I like these stocks for you. Put them on the near-perfect indicator. Put this on a 1 month. Look at the 1 day. Wow, look at this. TRMD. I like the 5 crossing above the 40. On RT, and look at this, 2 days ago, the 5 went above the 40 on price. I like this play. Look at the graphs, look at the bars, very little wicks at the top, so a lot of buying pressure, good open candles, nice open candle today. It is $35 stock. Technically speaking, I like it. I like it. Someone said about Tupperware. What did you say about Tupperware? I don't know. I'm going to write that down as a stock if we want to look at Tupperware. Tupperware, all right. Next stock in the list is looking at BBAR, another bank. Look at the 5 crossing above the 40 on price a few days ago, 5 above the 40 after the RT fell. This may not be a bad stock to get in. Trading right at the session highs. I like that stock. I cannot lie. I like that stock. I cannot lie. All right. Anyway, so let's keep on going. Lisa, don't say nothing. All right, NETI, nice open bar today. Very little wick at the top. Look at that. The 5 just went above the 40 on RT. Transportation ship. Someone talked about STNG. I do like this. This is a shipping company. I'm not on board with the shipping industry right now. I'm really not. But if I can find some of the shipping stocks that are making money, I'm not going to tell you not to take it. But NETI may be a better play to STNG. Wow, another bank foreign. Look at that. 5 went above the 40 on RT. Let me move this over. 5 went above the 40 on RT. Look at that. Trading at a 1 month high. Very little wick at the top. I like that stock. I cannot lie. AMR, though, on the other hand, look at the big wick at the top of that candle. Even though the 5 went above the 40 on price and the 5 went above the 40 on RT, watch this. This one is I'm the least liking because of the big wick at the top of the candle. All right, so that is the near perfect indicator. All optionable, all bullish. I'd be careful with AMR, though. Even though it's up today, I'd be careful with that. Let's go look at the 3-day winners. I got 5 of them for you as well. For those of you who are more swing traders, all right, Crocs is in their side. The ugliest shoes in the world, but it's a stock that keeps making money. Look at that. Undervalued, 2 point. Look at that. Fundamentally sound. Notice that the stocks that I'm giving you on the 3-day, for the most part, are all fundamentally good, with the exception of TRMD, where the relative safety is below 1. And RTs, they're all in uptrends. They're all buys. Good. Folks, I try to present you with some good stocks to pay attention to all times when I give you some stocks. All right, but I use the VectorVest system to do it. Let's right-click, view the stock graph. Let's pump up the jam. Let's pump up the jam. Pump it up while the beat is jumping and the house is pumping. That's all. The pump it up a little more. Get the party going on the dance floor. That's all I got to say to that, man. I'm going to laugh at that. That doesn't deserve crickets. That deserves a laugh. Actually, you know what it deserves? It deserves this.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
All right, that's what it deserved. It deserved that more. Hi, Natasha. All right, you're defend. You got a Tupper. So Tupper, Randy Tupper says, I'm offended on Tupperware. The Tupper family is no longer a major holder. Wow, Randy. You know, I how about this?
I love it!
All right, I like that better. Where was I? Was here. Yeah, I like that better, Randy. I like that. I like that better. I love it. How many people out there are named Tupper? I got to stop just to say that, Randy. As we start to talk about Tupperware. Very interesting. So I got to say about that. That's all I got to say. That's wow. That's all I got to say about that. Now, I like this. The movement on a 3-day lookout. What I don't like about KNSL, the stock is leveling out, and it really hasn't. Well, the most recent swing high is the high, the 3-month high. It's a nice open day today. I'd like to see the stock get above this price right here before I'm ready to go jump on board with it. I'm looking at about 12 cents higher than the high. All right, I'm looking at 12 cents higher than the high. Next one I'm looking at, wow, nice move. A little bit more of a volatile stock, but look at that. The 5 went above the 40 on price 2 days ago, and look at the move. Look at the move on RT. I like that stock. And now, by looking at it, it is a little bit more volatile. If that's not your play, then you don't take that. But it is on the move, and it's trading at session highs today. Let's go to the next one. Wow, I like Crocs. Crocs as a stock looks good. I'd love to see it take out that 3-month high. It's approaching that right now. Look at the valleys and the troughs on this back and forth from a technical standpoint, but the stock has just been moving up. I'd love to see it go 12 cents higher than the 3-month high, but definitely moving up. Definitely moving up, even though they're ugly shoes. FISV, you know, I got a nice level of resistance / support at 114.34. It's trading at 116.14. Nice level of support. I'd really like to see if it could take out the 3-month high of 119.48. But from a technical perspective, is on the rise right now. It is on the rise right now. And the last stock I have in here is WSO. I'm not feeling it. A little bit more of a channeling stock, even though it met the criteria. Down day to day, even though it met the criteria, more of a channeling stock. I'd like some of the other stocks. All right. And right now, given the market's conditions, I'm going to still keep you in tune with some contra ETFs. This is something that you got to have, even on a mixed day like today. Look at these moving: FNGD, SVIX, SQQQ. I own a position in SQQQ right now. Even with today's activity, I still think that there's more downside to the market. So I am hedging my portfolio with SQQQ. That's the only contra that I have in my portfolio right now. But don't sleep on these. All right, given the market's conditions. And remember, I'm having a hard time getting through this level of resistance. I'm holding on to that contra. If we can't get through, the first thing I'm looking for to the downside is for the 3 to go below the 8 on an end of day basis. That hasn't happened yet, but I am looking for that to happen to give me some more downside. I think that, folks, we still have a lot more room to the downside than to the upside. Could the market prove me wrong? Absolutely. Could the market prove me wrong? I'm giving you my insight in regards to that, and I'm looking at a market timing graph. We're having a hard time getting past that level. That helps to back up my story. With all of that being said, let's go take a look at some of your stocks. All right, anybody got any questions? Number one. Number two, did you have a good time so far? Type of 1 or a 2 type of 1 if you've had a good time today. Type of 2 if you didn't. All right. And I think that this is a good start to the week of understanding what's going on in the market, giving you some stocks to keep your eyes on going into the market, understanding of market timing. There's not a lot of news going on this week. I did a short that talked about it, that we don't see a lot of news. There's going to be a lot of housing stuff this week, housing starts, permits, that kind of thing. But that's going to give some insight as to what's going on in the economy as well. All right, let me see how many likes we have before we go look at your stock. 63 likes. Listen, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. That's all I got to say about that. The like button tells me that it was worth your time to be here. And number 2, if you haven't already, share it. If not, wait until this is done. Go share the recording. Go share the recording. Hit the like button. All right, as long as you think, I know, extra, says Natasha. Natasha, I appreciate that. If you felt that it was worth it for you to be here, it doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. And it just is a way to say, for you guys to say you appreciate it. All right, let's go look. I wrote down some of the stocks. SDOW, STNG, Tesla. You wanted to look at Tesla. FHI, SDGR, USOI. That's for oil. That's what I thought. Tupperware, Randy. I'm just going to look at Tupperware anyway. RIGL. How many stocks did I put? How many stocks am I going to look at? Excuse me. 9. Let's get to 15. So I need 6 more stocks. BBW. BBW. TO. That's 2. Wriggle is already here. Socks. That's 3. Shop. That's 4. XHB. That's 5. NTSL. That makes 6. That gives us 15 stocks. Gives us 15 stocks. Your work and efforts are always appreciated, Glenn. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I do want to look at lithium. So I'm going to look at LAC, LTHM. I will look at that. And I will look at one more. LABU. No more! Don't type any more stocks. Who's going to break my rule first? Don't type any more stocks. I'm looking. Michael, I should put you in timeout. And then there's Bob. CPRT is a good stock, by the way. CPRT. SQM is another lithium stock. But I got my stocks. Mark, you broke my rule too. I got 18 stocks. Let's peep them out. Out of all of the stocks you gave me, look at that. Sting, even though I'm talking about the shipping company, Sting is number 2 by VST. Stock at the bottom of the list, though, Regal Farm. Remember I was talking about pharmaceuticals? Let's go see if there's any news on this. It's up 4% today, but it's the worst stock in the list. Worst stock in the list. Any news on it driving it higher? 11 days ago. I don't know. Let's go to press release. Any specific news on it? No. I don't know what's moving Regal. All right, so I'd be careful with it. I'd be careful with the move up today. The stock is a sell. It is not a good fundamental stock, and it's got an RT below 1. So the beautiful thing about looking at the list of stocks that you gave me is that we got them ranked by VST. So no matter who gave me a stock, you can see where your stock sits in the list. XSB, home builders. Builders are going to, they're going to be getting stories on that. It's up 0.2%. RT is right at 1. RT is right at 1. Interesting. Lithium, overvalued, good upside potential. I think that lithium is a good play long term, but it's a tough play because it keeps going up and down, up and down. Right now, RT is hurting it, and it's a sell recommendation. Google was talked about last night, way overvalued. The company makes money, but the upside potential is not there. I think that with the AI stuff, this could be a bolster to a company like Google, especially if they can get their Bard GPT thing to work. All right, right now it's going through some stuff. Build-A-Bear. Somebody said to me, who's building a bear? Who goes to the mall? Anybody still goes to the mall? XROF is up on low volume. News came out on it, Mark. News came out of it. They picked up another 1 tier. It's a top 3 tier company. They picked up another. They talked about it. So that's it's news. I have LAC. I'm down right now. It says Ultra Magnus. I would be careful. Where's the lithium play? LAC. There it is. In the list, it's got a VST below 1. I'd be careful with it. Let's go look at the graphs on all these. Let's go take a look at the graphs. No mall. We still got malls. Joey, we still got the South Park Mall, right? Joey, we still got South Park Mall. They closed the mall. What did they close? They closed North Lake. Apple did. Apple left North Lake. But we still got North Lake Mall. I don't spend money I don't have to spend. Listen.
Still have South Park.
They still have South Park is just so expensive. Only people like me go to South Park, right? You in Boston to go to South Park. I go to South Park. Anyway, T.O. Computer, I'm going to change the graph layout. Hold on, let me go change the graph layout real quick. Put this on to my swing where I'm looking at the 20-day exponential moving average. And what else do I have? I'm going to take value off. I do like the play on T.O. What don't I like about it, though? It's a little bit more, what's the move I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Sigh again. I'm losing my mind. Y'all make me lose my mind up in here. What's that word I'm looking for right there? Somebody. Parabolic. How come y'all can't help me faster than that? Y'all depending on my day. Mark, how long did it take you to put that in there? Sigh. Parabolic. Be careful with that. Look at the wick at the top of today's candles. I do like the rise on good volume and above the 20-day. Just be careful with it. DMX. That's right, Nart. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Be careful with T.O. I do like the rising earnings, but I don't like the parabolic move on it. There's the shipping company. Scorpio Tankers above the 20-day. Earnings are starting to rise a little. And the dividend, that's a good sign to get people to start buying it. It is above the 20-day, and it broke through a level of resistance of 57.99. I'm going to give it a profit target up to the 3-month high of 64.20. All right, so it's got about $5 that it can still move. Let's go to the next one. BBW, down day today, but definitely above the 20-day. Earnings still looks good. Buy recommendation, just a down day today. If you own it, I wouldn't panic. But if it goes below this low right here, I'd probably think about taking it off the table, even if it is still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Tesla, I think, is a solid, good company. JD says buy puts. JD, I see it sitting right in the middle of a channel. All right, it's below the 20-day. I'm not full on board to buy puts yet. I wouldn't buy unless it went below this level right here of about 179.59. That's a good level, pre-level before this level of 165.05. If you own Tesla, this is the point of no return. I'm not going to call it no return, but this is a good point for you to get out. If you're in it right now, I'm not going to say panic and sell. And JD, I don't think that I'm on board with you with buying puts until it goes below that level. You believe you with that? You with that, JD? Not until it goes. Let it go below this little swing low right here. Swing chariot coming forth to carry me home. Now, another thing I'm on board with JD on this is the earnings are falling. That's a precursor to the stock's price to move down. This is my confirmation. All right, falling earnings per share is precursor to the stock's price moving down. My confirmation if it drops below 179.59. You okay with that, JD? You okay with that analysis? I'm not ready to go buy puts yet until it goes below, but precursorily, earnings per share is moving down. Let's go. Wow. Look at this. Google. The story came out on the Google last night. Big drop, still above the 20-day. A little bit of wick, open candle, a little bit of reverb to the upside. Still above. Earnings looks good. As long as it stays above the 20-day, I'm good. As long as it stays above the 20-day, I'm good. Hey, Tesla keeps cutting price. What happens to the margin? I've done a story on that, Eric. Good question. I've done a video on it recently, like in the last couple of weeks, about Tesla. And that's a question that I have. If they keep cutting prices, are they going to be able to afford that? Somebody responded to that video saying if they're able to streamline their ability to make cars, then the profit margin should be fine. We'll see. I like the Google play for now. Right now, JD, as long as it stays above the 20-day, I do like the earnings. As long as it stays above the 20-day, I'm okay with Google. Tesla, this is the other side. This is the long side with playing Tesla without having to spend Tesla money. This is an ETF that plays Tesla. All right, so you can buy it long. You're only going to be paying $12.90, But if I'm going to buy the TSL, I need it to be above the 20-day exponential moving average, also sitting in a channel. FHI, look at that move. Nicely moving up. A little bit of a shooting star pattern. Could be a reversal. Could be a reversal. All right, keep your eyes on it. It's still above the 20-day. Rising earnings. I'd like to see rising volume with it, but that could be a possibility. If you own it, keep your eye on that. See if we get followed through tomorrow. All right, that could be a possible reversal. Looking at lithium, lithium has been beaten up. I like the move coming up above the 20-day, breaking above a level of 22.19, which is a level of resistance. Love the earnings per share as well. Could lithium be on the rise again? Possibly. USOI, again, I think that oil is not in for a good ride to the upside right now, especially with more countries buying the oil from Russia to get around the sanctions that we've got on Russia. They're going to flood the world with oil, and it may still be in demand, but if the supply is there, oil is going to get hit. Be careful with your oil plays. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with my WTI share. Tesla is more than a car company. Tesla is a lot more than a car company, just like Apple is more than just a phone company or a computer company. I'm with you. Tesla, when I did the Tesla story, I talked about some of the other businesses that Tesla does. So Tesla's a well-rounded company. And, you know, maybe with the not getting the margins in the cars, but maybe in their solar business or in their other businesses, maybe that makes up for the margins. I don't know, though. I still don't know. They cut prices for cars 5 times this year already. That's where I still have a question of whether they can keep up with margins. I still have that question. And you're right, Richard. They are more than a car company. But I'm not, you know, I don't know. SDGR, did we not look at that yet? Is that in my list? I think that's in my list. USO, SOX, semiconductors, under the 20-day. Watch them. Keep your eyes on them. I still like this space, but as you saw, especially when it comes down to AI, AMD is in there, NVIDIA is in there, ASML, TSMC, a lot of those companies, but look at that. That's just a big jump to the downside on big volume. Something could be in play for that. Glenn, I'm seeing Tesla solar panels all over the place now, and people who have the panels, most of them also have a Tesla car. Again, Tesla is more than just a car company. As an entry into Google, should someone or myself wait until a pullback off the RSI is near 70? Let's go back to Google. Did I already do Google? I think I did. Yeah, Google. Right now, if I'm not in it, I want to see if this level of the 20-day exponential moving average will hold, George. All right, I want to see if it's going to hold. It looks like it might today. Then I'd put in an order 12 cents higher than the high of the day that I'm getting in. Does that make sense, George? All right, I love that it's above the 20-day. Even on the pullback, stopped at a level of support and stopped at that level of the 20-day. I like to play. But if I'm not in it, let's go see if the 20-day will hold today. All right, a couple of other stocks. We looked at that one already. We looked at that. Stocks we looked at. XHB, this stock's got to get out of its own way. It's got to get to that level of 68.19. A lot of selling pressure for the last 2 days, right at a level of support of 67.13. I'd be very careful with that. The earnings have been flat. Dividends are a good way to try to raise the dividend to get people to buy it. I don't know if it's worked yet. I don't know if it's worked yet. Be careful with that. Let's go to the next one. Wow, SDGR is nicely up today. Somebody said it was nicely up today. Look at earnings, though. Look at earnings, though. That's more than just looking at the big move. So, Richard, you see that big move? Nicely up today, right at 3-month highs. This catches my attention. You know what else catches my attention, Richard? What's volume doing? I'd like to see the stock's price going up on good rising volume. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. All right, that's not happening in the earnings per share. I'm not feeling that. That shows me a bearish divergence. Who just talked to me about that? Richard, do you see that? That's a bearish divergence on the company. Nice update today. I can't argue that. But I'd be very careful with this. I'd be very careful with this, Richard. All right. LAC, a lot of wick in below the 20-day. Earnings look good until today. Man, this is so got to get out of its own. I wish V would put cash flow in. We don't need it. You know, you want to go look for cash flow, Bob? It's out there. I don't need it. That's what I got relative safety for. Relative safety incorporates cash flow. A lot of those a lot of those things that you look for are out there, but they're also encapsulated in our relative safety. So I don't need to put cash flow, but if you still want to go look for it, you can do that. Relative safety gives me a good explanation of from a financial standpoint. What do they do? Are they good? Are they safe? Because you look at all of those things like cash flow and other things to see how safe it is. That's what our relative safety does. All right. Let's go to, wow, S-Dow. Woo-wee, that's to the short side. I'm not feeling that right now. All right. Next to the last, LABU starting to pick up. I like that coming off a level of support. Moving up nicely. I'd like to see it break through this level of resistance. Nice open candle, a little bit of wick at the top. The volume is starting to pick up a little bit. I like it. Bulls couldn't reclaim 411.79. There you go. Didn't realize cash flow was in relative safety. So all of those financial indicators, that a lot of people are looking for are really put in nicely to our relative safety. Relative safety looks at a lot of the financial stuff, price to book, all that stuff is incorporated in that relative safety. So if you don't want to have to go look for each and every one of those things, our relative safety looks at all of that stuff. All right, SQQQ, I'm in SQQQ, JD. Shopify, I needed to get above that level of 48.51. Wow, look at the earnings per share. I'm not feeling that. And it's just leveling out. Be careful with Shopify. Be careful with Shopify. Next to last, Tupperware. Randy, you still here? Woo-wee, Randy, you still here? Look at that gap down. Is that earnings? That was not earnings. Something happened there. But Randy, woo-wee. A lot of people talking about Tupperware. That ain't so pretty. Sure enough, not. Down day today. I'm not feeling Tupperware as a play to the upside. Roger says, darn, I placed a pre-market order to buy RXDX at 116. Price blew through that. Oh, man, it's up to 193. Wow, Roger. You missed out on that. Sorry. The last stock we got in here is RIGL Pharmaceutical. You know what I do like? Even though it's below the 20-day, I like the rising earnings per share. I like the rising from this low, serving as a beautiful level, support level, freehand line. Look at that. I like that. Let's go make that a little darker for you. I like the move on that. What I'm looking for right now is the break above that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. My first price point would be at about 145. My next price point would be at 157. My third price point on the stock would be about 182. All right, so it's got some work to do, but I do like the rise at the level of the 20-day and rising earnings. I'd keep my eye on that. With that, I'm done. Glenn, you need to throw more Tupperware parties. Who does that? Hey, who throws it? It's not Tupperware anymore. It's Pampered Chef. I wonder if they got a ticker symbol. Anybody know that? Pampered Chef. Do they have their own ticker symbol or are they private? Anybody? I'm looking at any of these. I'm not doing Tupperware. Sorry, Randy. But I definitely be looking at Pampered Chef. I'm going to see if they got a company, if they got a ticker symbol. How many likes we have, Joey? How many likes we got? Look at that, 103. Way to go, folks. Thank you. Today was fun. All right. We started off the week understanding what the market looked like. Gave you some stocks to look at. Looked at the news stocks. We did good. We need a Cafe Bustelo and crispy bacon party. Hell yeah, we do. Ooh-wee. We might do that in Los Angeles when we go to Los Angeles. Who's going to Los Angeles? I can tell you now, it's out there. How many of you going to Los Angeles? It's going to be a live 2-day seminar in Los Angeles. I will be there. See if anybody's going to bring me some Cafe Bustelo. Yeah, that's what I'm about. If only there was a program that could look up a ticker for you. It is. It's called VectorVest. 99 cents gets you into utilizing the VectorVest software. A lot of that stuff that we talked about today. All right, with that, thank you for your work today, Glenn and Joey. That was from Ramor. Thank you, Ramor. We appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Warren owns... Oh, he does. There is Pampered Chef. There is a Pampered Chef. All right. We might have to go look at that. Not today. When I was 14, mom went to Tupperware and lingerie party. I wanted to go and she wouldn't let me. Well, it was a... What I'm going to do, I'm going to put this. Wow. All right, I got to go. With that being said, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting people. Again, we're going to get to that 300 mark, and then we're going to get to 400 and 500. We're going to take off from there, especially if you like what we do here. With that, folks, I'm done. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time.